Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Emotional Eating Unwrapped. I'm your host, Alana Kessler. I am so excited to be here today because I have a really special guest. My friend is joining me today, my friend Jen Cayle Gaum. She is a professional makeup artist and she's a founder of two makeup lines. And she's a positive beauty expert with 20 plus years experience. And she is here to magnify the real you using the power of makeup. And the reason I wanted her to come on today is because not only is she such an inspiring woman, just I can't wait for you to get to know her and for her to just share her story with you and how she came to come to this place in her life with makeup and her philosophy and ideology around beauty. But she and I really share just a common um, philosophy, belief system around just feeling good in your body and prioritizing that and making that something that is really important to put attention on, to make a priority, to not feel ashamed about. And when it comes to things like beauty and things like for me and for what I work with women, weight loss and body image, it can be seen sometimes as vain. And today we really want to take the opportunity together to talk about how that is not the case and almost reframe and expand the narrative around how we look at beauty and um, how we look at prioritizing ourselves in that way. And so, Jen, welcome. Thank you so much for being here. Share your thoughts. I want to hear from you. Introduce yourself in your own words, of course. And thank you again for being here.
Thanks for having me. You did a great job introducing me. Thank you. Um, just to mimic what you said, I mean, as a mother of two, I always say that when you take care of yourself first, it's so much easier to take care of others. And instead of it looking as though it's self-absorbed or being vain, I think it's really selfless, actually, because the more you give in a healthy way, in a balanced way to you, the more you can, not just give to others, but also model these important behaviors.
Mm-hmm.
And I think when it comes to beauty and makeup and skincare, and now with teens and tweens getting so involved and interested, a lot of parents I'm hearing, they don't want to create negative habits with this. And just like food, I think the more you take away from the younger generation, the more they want. But I think it's so important for us to really model what's healthy, what's balanced, um, appropriate, and not taking anything away, but making sure that we're creating these healthy habits for them for the future. And it all kind of starts with us. And so, making sure that we're looking at these types of things as not negative, but actually positive and sharing it in a positive way.
Definitely. I couldn't agree more. I think it definitely starts from the role models. It definitely starts from the belief systems and the messaging that you get from your caretakers and just having that having that sense of worth and having that sense of agency and pride almost your in your appearance
Right.
as not something that's makes like you said makes you vain in any way or that but really more just because you have this one body, you have this one skin, you have this one organ that's your skin,
Right.
and it's it's generous and it is self-love to take care of it in that way. And I would love to hear from you. How did you get into beauty and makeup? What's your origin story around your relationship with beauty and makeup?
So I think first, most people are taught that makeup is used to hide, to mask, or to alter ourselves. And when you really become more comfortable with who you are and recognize the features that you do like about yourself, because we all have some, but sadly we're always kind of looking for those ones that we want to change or, conceal. But I do think that when you start to think of using makeup to really enhance and to highlight those features, that makeup can really become a power weapon for you. And
Mm-hmm.
so I was very lucky growing up that it was, we talked about everything. And, we talked about the things that we felt insecure about, and we found a way to feel more secure. And so I was always like that with my girlfriends, no, you can do it, encouraging, whether it be something physical or, something on their face or their body. I would always recognize the beauty in others that maybe they did not even see in themselves. And anyhow, when I was growing up in Canada, I went to school in Toronto, and that became my part-time job, working at the makeup counters. And I would sit these women down, and the first thing that they would do is self-criticize, say what they wanted to cover or to change. And I was like, I mean, they're crazy. I didn't see any of these. And I immediately started, showing them how to pull out their cheeks or to mimic how they look when they're their healthiest. And it's just a passion of mine to really work with individuals and to get them to recognize parts of themselves that they never really even considered, and then to use makeup to just enhance. And it's pretty powerful when we flip the perspective and we, don't have to self-criticize, because then we don't have to feel like we're not good enough, because we are good enough. We're better than good enough.
I completely agree. Do you have a beauty philosophy?
I mean, I guess my philosophy is, if you really focus on the three features that you do like about yourself, and really try to think of using makeup to pull those features out and get your mind away from self-criticizing. I think that that's, the most important thing, and just to be balanced and to use what's appropriate and to really take who you authentically are and to just mimic how you like to look when you are your healthiest, after a good night's sleep, after eating healthy and balanced and a little bit of a workout. And
Mm-mm.
if we can just emanate that, as much as possible, I think that that should be our goal every single day.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. And something that really resonates with me, that feels really complementary to a lot of the conversations I have with women as well, is that you're not saying that women just have to, that to love yourself and to feel really beautiful, that you just have to, that you don't ever need products.
No,
Like, you're
no,
saying
the
that there
opposite.
is, that it takes action and effort to amplify,
Mm-hmm.
and to amplify, tell me if I'm saying this right, like to amplify your
To be your
features.
best self. I mean,
Right.
we all have what we're born with. And if we can really just take our natural self and just, protect it and prevent and to hydrate and to use a balanced skincare routine that is custom for you, not your best friend. Sorry, my earpods falling out.
That's okay.
um, but for you, your skin type, your skin condition, your lifestyle goals. And it doesn't mean you have to have 1,000 products, and you shouldn't actually, but you should have the right products for AM and for PM. So it should really be a balance, just like how you eat, right? Like, you don't want to, because you're eating something super healthy like salmon, you don't want to eat it every single day, because you're still missing out on so many other ingredients that can do amazing things for you. It's very similar. So you want to make sure that you're getting the right routine for your AM and the right routine for your PM. That is,
Right. Like, there's some discipline, there's some structure, there's some routine that you have to plug into in order to get the benefit of feeling like your best self. It's
right.
not just carte blanche saying, I accept myself and I'm just gonna and that's fine also, but that's not self-love. To me, self-love
Right.
does require some semblance of structure, accountability,
And getting to know what
plugging into
you need,
something, things that you need to
be your best.
illuminate.
Yeah.
And I think really when we had our initial conversation, that's what really struck me
Mhm.
is that some women, and I'm not knocking this, but are just like, yeah, if I love myself, that means that I don't really need to do skincare. I don't need makeup. I just love myself the way that I am, and whatever happens and whatever it is,
Mhm.
um, I'm just going to love it.
Right.
And I just don't think that that's a reality. Like, I personally think that's a bypass. I think that
Yeah.
that's not true. It's the same thing with weight, right? When we
Right.
had our initial conversation, I made the connection with that. It's
Yeah.
like it's not self-love to just be like, I'm going to love myself however I am, even if I'm, at a certain weight that I don't feel good at,
Right.
and just
Right.
somehow learn to just accept it.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, you're kind of missing getting deep and raw and,
Hmm.
staying on the surface. And to the opposite, if you're using 1,000 products and, maybe they're amazing, high quality, expensive skincare products, but they're all doing the same thing, or maybe they're not right for you, or they're too heavy for you, but you have them, so you're using them. That's not right either, because, you really do need products that are specific to your needs and to your goals. And it also has to, be consistent. You just can't, use a bunch of random stuff. It's probably like eating. You can't just eat a bunch of random healthy stuff and then think I'm taking good care of myself. There's definitely there has to be some structure to it, like you said.
Yeah, there has to be some structure. And I think that, to your point, it's all about your motivation for it. And it's not about the makeup that's bad or the products that's bad. It's really about your motivation. So if your motivation is to, and you honor and respect that products are going to make you feel like your best self by illuminating your best features, and you have the structure in place, and you have the plan in place and the directives in place to know how to do that, that's great. That's separate from somebody just saying, I want to cover up a bunch of stuff and
Right.
I want to hide.
Yeah, it's just getting back to a shield. It's like keeping the extra weight on. It's preventative. It's pre- preventing from showing up as your true self.
Exactly. Exactly. So do you have a beauty framework that you work with women? I'd love to hear what that looks like.
Yeah, so I offer a lot of one-on-one services. Obviously, consulting. I mean, I work with everyone from 9 years old to 90, but I do have a service that offers getting the correct products for yourself, and then me teaching them how to actually use them, and it takes all the guesswork away. It's hard to know what works. I mean, there's so much out there. It's confusing, and when you're just adding random things to your collection, it's just you're not really knowing what order to use a specific product. You're never going to get the results that you're looking for. So when we really kind of audit what somebody already has, or maybe they don't have anything yet, we're able to put together beauty routines based on who they are. And then once you have the right products and you know exactly how to use it, it's like you never have to think about it again. So that is I mean, it's been genius. It's just been magic for so many people. I love doing it. I can do it in person, online, and I offer a lot of empowering tutorials, just getting comfortable with who you truly are,
Hmm.
and recognizing the features that you have that makes you different from everyone else. And that's really such a powerful tool for you to have. I think most people look at them as imperfections, but when you start to embrace them and you show up as your true self, it's the only one's opinion that matters is yourself, right? So when you really get to be that comfortable, and then know how to use makeup to really work with who you authentically are, is it's just an amazing tool to add to It's like a yoga class, actually. It's like an extra support.
Yeah. And have you seen women's just self-worth and self-esteem
Yeah,
just completely shift, and even just the belief system they have around makeup? Because I know when I work with women, they come with a belief system around certain foods, right? It's like, oh, I can't eat this type of food, it's bad. And they
yeah,
have you know, they have certain rigid ideas of how certain things fit in certain ways,
yeah,
and there's almost a resistance to engaging with things, especially on my, from in my perspective. When I work with women, it's like, oh, if I do this, it's going to be like I'm on a diet. If I do this, I might gain weight, right? So there's all these different things. And
yeah. It's a mindset that
but
you're trying to change in a sense after all these years.
yeah, and like belief systems and um yeah, that people have around food and around eating. And it's amazing when I watch the women test themselves, or kind of, test themselves, or more just um, push themselves to embrace relating to food differently, even if
Yeah,
it challenges their own belief around it. Like, I'll be like, have the ice cream, have the cake. Like,
right.
you will lose weight anyway. Like, even when you have that. And they're like,
Yeah,
no, but cake is, bad. Or I'm like, have the salad. And they're like, well, I can't have the salad because if I have the salad, then that means that I'm dieting. And
yeah.
I'm like, they have this resistance to it.
Hmm.
And then over time I see that they just develop this neutrality around food, and all of and it's when they let go and they can approach it from a place of more acceptance and less fear and less judgment,
Yeah,
that they end up getting their results, and they end up losing weight, and they end up just
yeah,
feeling great about themselves and then embodying their best selves. So do you see
yeah,
women having this like resistance towards makeup or towards skincare, and then having this arc of transformation around it?
yeah. Uh, I mean, I think what happens is that they only know what they know. And so they're either taught from their caregiver or a friend in college, and they're still using that same philosophy. But what they're finding is that they're now different people. And so it's misaligned, but they're not really connecting that. So when they know that something's not right, but they're not sure exactly what it is. And so they're starting, women my age, I'm 50, I've got two kids. I mean, they're starting to see that things are changing in their skin or have changed, and they think I need more coverage or I need to conceal this. And actually, that's never the answer. I mean, what we really need to do first is to look and see what they're using skincare wise, because it always, starts with it always starts there, and making sure that they are hydrated enough and using the right types of products for their skin type, something that's not too heavy, not too anti-aging, because a lot of the times they're using these crazy products. They're just sitting on the surface of the skin and they're not making change happen like it should. So we have to make sure that we delve deep into that area. And then in terms of makeup, I teach them how to focus on texture and finish and brightening up the skin. And that's actually what makes them look more youthful, as opposed to trying to, hide and cover, because that's just, that's just making it look more obvious, the areas that they're trying to take away. And so there's this real shift. And until they understand it and see it, they're still thinking what they were taught, to hide and to mask and to conceal. And actually, I do none of that. So it's a really interesting learning experience for them. I love going through it with them, and every time they can't believe just how the light they feel and confident, because they just literally look like themselves, but 5 to 10 years younger.
Oh my God. I love that. I'm looking at you. And if you're watching this on YouTube, you could actually see Jen as she's saying this, but like, you have a glow around you as you talk about that experience with women. You can just see how, and when you said light, like I really saw that coming from you. And I and similarly really see that coming from the women I work with as well. It's like when they can let go of the belief systems and the judgments that they got from diet culture, from like their caretaker, from the narratives of the women around them about like this is good to eat, this is bad to eat, this is diet food, this is this. Like when they can let go of all of the outside noise and just tune in to their desires, what they want,
Mhm.
and how they want to feel, and they continue to just attune to their own selves
Right.
and their own needs, their own motivations, their own cues,
Yeah.
and they're led by that. There's a lightness to it. There's
Yeah.
no judgment or self-judgment or criticism around themselves anymore. It's really just their full selves just
Right.
completely just shine through.
Yeah. Growing up, we didn't have social media. So this is, for my business especially, taken a whole other area where every video is teaching people of all ages to be someone who they're not. And so this is what they're learning. And if you have a teen or a tween and they don't have a caregiver, that's really taking control of this and you know making I guess modeling what a healthy relationship with themselves is, making sure that you're not self-criticizing in front of teens and tweens because they hear all of this. And also letting them know that having an appropriate skincare routine, even for a tween, is healthy. It's not unhealthy. It just has to be appropriate. You don't want them using products that are so advanced for their skin that's going to cause damage or irritation or rashes. But there
Mm-hmm.
are plenty of great cleansers and SPFs and lightweight moisturizers that are appropriate for their skin,
Yeah.
and letting them know that these are creating healthy habits and not negative, trying to take away or downplaying their interest. And also with the makeup too, I mean, there are plenty of appropriate products for young girls, just a little cheek, a little lip gloss. I mean, these are things that are, I think, if they want to experience, we should allow it, but we should also, let them know that these are things that are appropriate for you, and this is where we're going to concentrate for right now, but not to make it seem like this is, they're too young for it. They're gonna want it more.
Yeah. I also think it's really important to train or to educate women young that taking care of yourself requires a certain amount of preparation and thinking ahead and effort,
Right.
and that it doesn't have to be something that you do almost to fix something about you. I feel like it's really important to get people into, it's like when you're learning music, when you're learning how to play an instrument, you have to learn the scales, and then it's like that. I think it's really nice to I think it is really important to get and to educate young girls on the value of structure and creating a structure,
Mm-hmm.
and how that can be really empowering. And it doesn't always have to mean that you're in a structure because you're trying to fix something about
Right.
yourself.
Yeah, that's a great point. And it could you could really just like yourself as you are, and just still take care of yourself, still do things that just enhance and make you, because they make you feel better on the inside. When you feel better, you do better.
Mm-hmm.
And
And it's nice when it's part of your infrastructure and it's
mhm,
not something that you take on or wear because, like I said, because you're trying to change something about you. I think we're so used to, and I'm not even just talking about young girls, I think even
yeah,
adult women, we're so used to plugging into structure when we just want to lose weight, or like when we want
right,
to get a certain result.
yeah,
And I think that there's so much value to having it just be your natural rhythm.
yes,
And so training yourself young makes that your natural rhythm.
Yeah.
But we have to make sure that we let and we educate our young girls
Hmm.
to not, to not think that they're doing this because they're trying to make themselves prettier, or they're trying to, like, it's not
But
some sort of,
somebody else.
yeah, it is, but it's your inner self-care.
Yeah.
This
It's
is what you
valuing
do.
yourself, actually.
Exactly.
And I
Hmm.
think, when you eat properly, you're valuing who you are as a human
Exactly.
being. I mean, we all know that feeling when we don't eat any nourishment or any foods that's, doing good things for our body. We never feel our best self. We never feel like, we're ready to conquer the world. But when we are consistently eating balanced, and I don't mean 100%, but 80%, and taking care of ourselves, we're so much more confident. I mean, our insides, our inner confidence is boosted, and we're just more powerful as a person. And beauty is very similar. When you just take a few minutes for yourself, it doesn't have to be a lot of time. It shouldn't actually be a lot of time, but when you have a consistent routine that's appropriate for yourself, it's just part of taking care of you in a healthy way.
Absolutely. I could not have said it better. And I love this conversation. I love the effort that you and I put out into the world of getting people to understand that self value is about routine and structure, and putting in some energy and effort into attuning to your true self, and then making an effort to illuminate and amplify that. And that does require some discipline, that does require some action and some products and some choices.
Right.
And doing that doesn't necessarily mean that you're vain, or that on the other side you're trying to fix yourself, or that you don't feel good about yourself. In fact, it's
Yeah.
the opposite. And it's really nice to have met and to just chat with someone who shares that same belief system. And so before we end, I just want to know, can you share two main ways to work with you?
Yep. If you're in New York City, you can call me and we can have a one-on-one. And if you want your makeup applied for any type, social, professional event, you just want to look like yourself, but a better version. That's one way. We can also customize a beauty routine for you in person or online. And we can also, I can work with groups in person, online. We can customize different types of workshops, tutorials. I work with a lot of women, how to get your glow back, and just great tips and techniques for that. Professional women, because when you understand the power of authentic makeup for the workplace, for example, it's just an extra tool to help you conquer whatever it is that you have to do, whether it's public speaking, presentations. So yeah, there's lots of different ways. I work with individuals, groups, companies from all ages.
Amazing. And where can people contact you? So, is there a social media handle? Is there a website? Feel free
Yep,
to share
both are
any of those
under
things.
Jen Cayle Gaum. Instagram, website,
How do you spell Jen Cayle Gaum?
JenCayle Gaum.
Perfect. So that's your Instagram handle, and then website is jencaylegom.com.
Correct, yes.
Perfect. Well, Jen, thank you so much for this conversation today. I had such a good time chatting with you.
Thank you.
And thank you, listeners, for joining us for another new episode of Emotional Eating Unwrapped. Please subscribe, leave a review, share this podcast with anybody you feel might benefit from this empowering knowledge. I have a bunch of free resources on my website for you to learn how to love eating, lose weight, all the things. And until next time, I'm Alana, and thank you for listening to Emotional Eating Unwrapped.